Hi everyone, this is Rafael Rivera and I'm here to go over American Horror Story Apocalypse episode 10's preview, the grand finale. And I kind of just did this off the cuff. I talked to Nick Snow about it, even talked to my friend Kevin, and I decided to make this quick little video about the breakdown for this preview. Obviously the show is starting tomorrow night, and but Jim Morrison made it with me. So I want to kind of go over frame by frame exactly what we see in this 42-second preview. And in the very first shot, we see hands popping out of the ground. And I just want to say, if you look at those three hands, the giveaway is that beautifully gloved black satin hand in the middle. Obviously, that is Myrtle Snow, the fashionable one. Looks like they survived the nuclear blast. And it looks like that's where we start. And then you hear her voice, and you get a flashback of her talking to the girl still in Misty's shack, and she's basically explaining that about what's about to unfold between good and evil. And it looks after that you get a recycled shot of Billy Eichner's character Brock walking through the ruins as he's making his way back to the outpost. So I don't know if they recycle that shot as a flashback or they just recycle that shot because they're just on a budget constraint. Who knows? I doubt that they're on a hard budget. I feel like they got some money flowing in on that production with everything that's going on and how popular that show is now. And then you can hear Mallory as she's responding to Cordelia, and you see Coco, Mallory, and Madison sitting on the couch, and they're looking up at her and they're like, "We are so fucked. How can we stop 1,000 bombs from going off?" So we get another shot where you see Langdon walking with his satanic worshipers. Hopefully they left out Sandra Bernhard. And you see Meade there watching over with a stern look on her face. Ooh, it gave me flashbacks of the nuns in school. Ugh, we had this one named Sister Marion Paul. We were terrified of her. Terrified. She goes, and she basically tells them to bow down before their king. And then you get another shot. It was very interesting. You see what presumably is going to be Michael Langdon's hand. You see the jewelry on there. And then you see blurry in the backdrop what seems to be Madison looking over her shoulder. Now, I don't know if he's about to cast a spell on her or is reaching out to her. What's happening in that shot? And it makes me wonder whether or not, did she really make a deal with him to get him out of her personal hell? Because she did state that she would do anything. And a lot can have happened between the time of her leaving her hell up to the point where he brings her to Cordelia and Myrtle and the Warlocks to prove his point as he picks up Queenie and her. So there's a lot of gray areas there. There's a possibility that did he ask for an alliance and she was on the DL and infiltrating the Coven and reporting back to him? Or is he just going to play an attacker? Who knows? But that's going to be answered in the finale episode. But very interesting shot. And then we got what I presume is a recycled shot of Miss Meade with the cocaine bowl for Jeff and Mutt. I figured out finally it's Jeff, the name, and Jeff is actually the blonde. And unfortunately, it's Evan Peters' character's name. Mutt is Billy Eichner's name. But it looks like either it's a recycled shot or a flashback, or is it her final drug run for them before the apocalypse commences and she's on her way to the outpost? So a lot of questions there. And then we go into another shot after that where we see Cordelia fainting with Myrtle and Zoe. So not sure why they would go back to that scene, but I can tell you in a minute the reason why. And then you have Cordelia talking to Mallory and Coco, basically telling them, this has to get done. And we go over and we see a disturbing picture of Michael looking distraught and looks like he's yelling. So I don't know if he's frustrated or maybe he's going through some kind of anguish, recollecting what he did to Constance, because later on in this 42 seconds, you do see a shot of young Langdon choking Constance. So it makes you wonder, well, what's happening? Why is he screaming? Is it because things didn't go exactly the way he planned? Who's to say? But here's my favorite thing, and this is the reason why I really wanted to post this immediately. I've been like tense while I was at work today. We see a shot where we have Michael Langdon. We're back in the present time, back to episode 3, the original timeline, and you see Dinah. It's not Dina. People keep saying Dina. It's Dinah out there, and she is at the bottom of the steps where the other witches are. Michael Langdon's at the top of the steps with Miss Mead, and then you clearly hear him say, "Oh, I love a good witch fight," and then the next shot they go back and they show her eyes about to look like she's about to go into a zombie trance to cast a spell or some sort of attack. So, and I think what maybe perhaps the writers want you to believe in this preview, and perhaps maybe they want to make Michael Langdon believe, is that, are they going to be a witch fight because of Dinah's betrayal? Or take a close look. Who is that on stage right, on the right side of the screen? Look at that silhouette. Those are Michelle Obama arms. I'm going to tell you guys, that looks like Angela Bassett. And it looks like she is back for the finale. And she is not playing. And by the look on Dinah's face, the "oh, I'm so fucked" look, it makes me wonder what's going to happen. So, despite of this flashback and flashback, it looks like we're going to get some really juicy moments for this finale that's just going to make our heads spin. So how did Marie Laveau get back? I'm going to answer that in a minute. And then we get another shot where you see actual Michael choking Constance. And so it makes you wonder, is this a flashback, or is this Mallory actually traveling back in time? And then you see the actual shots of the apocalypse happening, just as it did in the very first episode with the sirens going off. You see the nuclear blast. You see the reflection in Coco's eyes while they're on the plane. And then you hear Cordelia's voice over this, in order to save the world, you will have to watch it burn. So it's almost like it's part of the plan. They want to have Michael in this false sense of security that things are happening the way they should in order for them to execute their plan of attack on Michael. I'm going to give it to Sarah. She's got a plan, obviously. She's not as weak as being perceived as what happens with many of her characters in the anthologies here in Ryan Murphy's world. So the other thing that happens, which I thought was very interesting, is you see, just like in the picture behind me, you see Michael Langdon. He looks pretty cut up, like he's been in a really bad fight. I could see why Myrtle made fun of his fashion choice, because it isn't a very flattering dinner jacket, and I'm not sure what's going on with his high-watered, flared pants as a throwback from Star Trek, the original series from the 60s. A very bizarre outfit choice. But he's got a knife in his hand, and you hear his voice saying, I was always going to win. So something happens between Marie Laveau and the other witches to this point now. So something happened. It looks like there were some deaths, obviously. And then you get this disturbing shot where you see Mallory. Looks like she found a much bigger bathtub to go into, but obviously it looks like she's attempting time travel. And I'm kind of worried about the look on her face. I was talking to Nick and he goes, that doesn't look very good. Doesn't look very promising. Like, where's that gonna go? So the next scene is we get the scene back in Murder House where Connie Britton's character, Michael Langdon's biological mother, is creeping up in the bedroom with a knife while he's sleeping. And at first I thought, is that Misty Day? Because it looks like there's a hint of a shawl. Is it Mallory? And it made me go back to the original episode, Return to Murder House, to see that same exact scene to see if there's any differentiation. The only difference I saw was that it was a brighter light in this particular shot, and same knife, same damn shawl, and it was Connie Britton wearing it, and made me think, well, who the hell wears a shawl when they want to wield a knife? Won't they get in the way? So anyways, and then, so it leaves a lot of questions, and then we go and the very final scene where you see Cordelia with teary eyes blowing that pixie dust magic powder, Stevie Nicks powder, into presumably what's going to be Coco and Mallory, maybe to help them forget and protect them as they're planted in the outpost. So what's gonna happen? I want to give a special shout out to JMP420 for subscribing to our channel and made a comment that he would like to see more outposts and the actual sanctuary in this coming episode. And if they could pull that off, I'll give props to them because they have so much to cram in this finale. And it would debunk my theory that Sanctuary doesn't exist, that it was just created as a ruse to give people false hope and have better control over them, much like the movie Logan's Run. So, yes. And then he quickly, after I replied to that, he quickly replied that, you know what, he was honestly rooting for Michael. I think most people are at this point. Interesting. And then I want to give a special shout to Etta Arlene, her channel, and watching their preview of this, I'm watching their theories on this preview. One of them mentioned that, you know, did Dinah make a deal with Papa Legba? And I'm gonna agree with that. You know, did she make a deal because she knew what Papa Legba wanted? You know, he wanted all of the girls from Robichaux, which Cordelia said no. But hear this, though. She probably did it differently, obviously, than the way Cordelia did by allowing Michael to get in there and kill them. So in a way, Dinah delivered on Papa Legba's demand by giving the girls over, allowing Langdon to murder the girls, so that he would have had access to their souls. She was the one to initiate that. So think about that. So that would make sense how and why Marie Laveau came back. I'm like, you can't deny it. You got to look at that picture. You can't deny that is Angela Bassett's silhouette. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the finale episode. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with myself after it's over. I'm going to have to figure out another show. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. Please let me know what your thoughts are on some of these interesting theories. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Peace.